This is my 1973 Oldsmobile Omega 4-door with a factory 350 small block Oldsmobile in it. As you can see, it's got some love marks right here and on the side. A little bit rough. I believe an older person owned it previous to me. That's how it looks. Paint is not its best attribute here, but I think it's got its stance for sure. And if you guys don't know or have never heard of this car, this is a Chevy Nova. This is the cousin to a Chevy Nova, just like the Buick Apollo and the Pontiac Ventura, but this is the Oldsmobile Omega. As you can see here, we got some nice mag wheels, and as you can see, we got Wilwood brakes in the front. It's a nice little upgrade. In the back, we still have the drums. Here's the rear. The rear kind of looks similar to a Nova, but the taillights are just slightly different. And obviously in the front, way different than a Nova. I think these front fenders are different as well. And I actually like the look of this. I mean, it looks pretty nice. It looks better than the Cutlass of the same year. So this is much better. Obviously it's got its little details that need to be fixed, but it's pretty nice. I can show you guys how big the trunk is. I have all the keys. Pops right up, and look, I have the plate for the front, and I have a amplifier right there in the back. Pretty big and spacious. I'm sure you can fit like probably 2 people in here. And then obviously you have your fuel filler neck right there. This has a true dual exhaust. The previous owner had upgraded it, so I have 2 outlets, one on the left and one on the right. You can kind of see it. It's an open rear differential, no posi. Here's the other side. As far as the interior goes, I think it's pretty nice except for the dashboard. Obviously this car has been sitting in the sun for quite a bit, but actually saved the seats. The seats are in perfect condition, the front and the back. They're a little bit, you know, dirty, but they're good. But as you can see, the dash here, kind of rough, but it's the exact same one that a Nova would have, so it's not that bad of a replacement. It shares a lot of, actually everything but the door panels I think is from a Nova. It's pretty close. The gauges are all from a Nova, and it's missing the little AC, so it used to be an AC car. Obviously you got your roll-up windows. And then here, I'll open up the hood so you guys can see what's underneath. So I have it popping out of here, but there was a bracket that would hold it, but you know, it's plastic and it's from 1973, so it's not really, it's past its time at this point. Let's see if I can get this up without crushing my fingers. There we go. So I actually pulled this motor out because one of the freeze plugs had failed on the driver's side here, but it was right at the point where the motor mounts are, so there was no way I can get to it with the engine inside. So I decided to pull out the motor, and then I did a whole refresh. I changed the oil pan gaskets because they were leaking pretty bad. Changed the timing cover gaskets, and I also went in and changed the timing chain, the timing chain sprocket for the camshaft, and I installed this very nice Edelbrock Performer 350 Olds intake I think it looks really nice. Has a Edelbrock Carburetor, I think a 1460 or 1416, there we go. Has a stock exhaust manifolds, although I do have a set of hooker headers that would fit this particular one. Still has a mechanical fuel pump, and as you can see here, I did a little upgrade. I added I looked on the forums for Novas, and a lot of them recommend running Ford Taurus, like a 1990 Ford Taurus electric fan, and I have that right here. And then I have that wired up with, you know, have a junction block here, and I have my relay, and I have my sensor, so it's all done legit. It turns on automatically, it turns off automatically, it doesn't heat up. I think it looks pretty snazzy. Has an aftermarket radiator, as you guys can probably see, big chunky one. And overall, I think it's a nice looking motor. Obviously, it's got the upgrade for the Wilwood brakes, like you guys seen. It's an automatic transmission column with the column shifter, and it has a TH350, so turbo hydromatic 350. And then I upgraded to another aftermarket oil cooler, transmission oil cooler, just to keep things cool during the hot days. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as like any upgrades go to the motor, besides the intake, I don't have any. The intake, the carburetor, and a carb spacer. I left everything else alone because the availability of good camshafts is kind of dwindling in 2024, so I decided not to mess with that and just leave the stock flat tappet cam that it had in. So that's it. Let me turn on the engine. Okay, as you can see, I added some little things. I had a tachometer here. I think it looks pretty cool. It like shifts in it looks low here, but it shifts into place when you're in drive. So you can see better view of the seats. Kind of nice. Need to hide some of the wiring better. It's just like cosmetic stuff. This thing actually runs really good. I really like how it runs. Another thing, I think something needs to be replaced in the steering column, because the key doesn't return after you start cranking. It doesn't return automatically to the run position, so you kind of have to crank, and then as soon as it's on, then you need to back it up just a little bit. Okay, let's turn it on. Let's look at the tach. Look at that. Didn't even have to pump it. It just started right up. See, you got a full tank of gas. That works. Look, I'll hit the throttle a little bit. You see, it holds a nice idle. Very stable. It can run like this forever. Sounds really nice with the dual exhaust. The idle sound, it's just that classic muscle car sound. I love it. So obviously it needs some cosmetic stuff to be taken care of. I did find that the suspension needs a little bit of work. Seems like the coils are just a little, at this point, a little bit wasted. They're not really springing up like they used to. So I think that's coming for me in the near future, because the tires are rubbing. They rub on the fenders and they rub on the rear too. When I make a big turn, they end up rubbing. So it has a little bit of, I guess, instability, which you can expect from a leaf spring car. But overall, it's been great.